What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Webull, I want to go over some of the data points, break it down, what is moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So Webull is up 4.94%, 950 the low, 1035 the high, and just shy of around 11 million shares being traded. No official news from Webull today, no SEC filings. Rather, what is really causing all this hype is this right here. So Webull has been added to both the Russell 2000 and Russell 3000 indexes. This is going to become effective December the 22nd. So from now up until December the 22nd, you should see some kind of higher volume as institutions will be buying it to add it to their ETFs and so forth. So I think in general, this is good. Should avoid a lot of the kind of excessive volatility that Webull has kind of undergone. But nonetheless, I don't really see this being a crazy catalyst, only because everyone pretty much qualifies for the Russell 3000. It's based on market cap, so the 3,000 largest companies, again based on market cap. Russell 2000, again, it's not really that special, but still I think this really goes to show how discounted Webull truly is. Aside from that though, you're seeing the market somewhat mixed. So we did have some data, ADP employment, the weekly coming in at 4,700. Previous was negative 13,000. Then Jolt numbers, both for September and also October, came in on point. So in general, this is very good stuff. The only caveat to that though is we don't want good, we want somewhat negative. So right now, with tomorrow being December the 10th, the next Fed decision rate, we now have a 87.4% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. This is where you're seeing the market somewhat torn. Even from my watch list, you're seeing now Webull kind of losing some momentum, but a lot of stocks are starting to kind of sell off right now. So let me know your general thoughts on that. Shorts though, it's positive to see that they're not really doing too much. So shorts are increasing around 17,000 shares. 4.27% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 10.4 million shares overall are being shorted. And this is something I've brought up in previous Webull videos. The fact that despite all the, I would say, crappy price action, you see shorts kind of still sitting back. They're not doubling down. And this is something that's very abnormal, because with a lot of other fintechs such as Robinhood, when it was in the teens, and SoFi when it was as well kind of the $6 to even $20 range, it was being very heavily shorted. For whatever reason, shorts don't want to touch Webull. So hopefully that does continue, because that is not good for anyone in my opinion. Aside from that, looking at the options, you're seeing things starting to really heat up. 7.3 million in calls, 1.75 in puts, and then 57% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. So like I said, I think based on the price action and everything today, it really is bringing more awareness on how discounted Webull truly is. Aside from that, from a bull standpoint, you see consensus for it to be above 1050 to 11. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 10, and it looks like they did open up a whole new kind of rush of chains and also strike prices. So it looks like it goes all the way up to now $35. Market makers add that because they feel it is potentially on the table and it's possible. Some people are already doing it. So it looks like $35 by January 15th, 2027. So that would be a pretty good return in my opinion. These are some of the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So it definitely goes to show that big money is buying up Webull. So four buys, one sell, and then these are all the transactions occurring on the dark pool. The fact that shorts are only increasing around 17,000 shares, it is fair to assume that majority of these are linked to hedge funds. So as I mentioned, hedge funds will be buying up Webull because of its Russell 2000 and 3000 inclusion. So definitely good stuff for that. Right now with it at 1016, it's kind of pulling a little bit lower from the highs of 1035, but still it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So I'm looking at the 1-day chart. These are very strong support and resistance points. 924 is a strong support, and then 1049, that's going to be pretty much when you'll watch for it to get over, hopefully tomorrow with the rate cut. Again, I think tomorrow will be an interesting time because you are seeing the market pricing in a 25 basis point cut. So there's going to be two things that people need to watch for tomorrow, whether we actually do get a cut or not, and then afterwards what Powell is going to say about January onwards. So that's all going to be fun time in my opinion. Aside from all that fun stuff, quickly popping right over here. So you do see things starting to really heat up. It's actually improved quite a lot ever since their earnings. The low of 757, so crazy stuff for that. Aside from all that fun stuff, you see a lot of good willing buyers. And technically not really that much in willing sellers. So all Webull needed was obviously this news, or potentially even just a further gentle push, and you could see this thing heat up very, very fast. And even potentially in the next couple trading days, if it's able to get above this 50-day moving average, that is going to be a very big deal for the broader market. And generally, every time a growth stock such as Webull does break above that 50-day moving average, you see some pretty impressive price action. Last time that did happen in July, it went from around $12 and change to a high of 18 and change. So definitely things could heat up very fast. All it needs is that nice gentle push, as I mentioned. There really hasn't been that much in analyst ratings. Last one was done on November the 21st, Northland. And as I've kind of mentioned in previous videos, I'm not really that bullish on, I guess, a lot of the firms. So Northland, Rosenblatt, like they're kind of beeline firms in my opinion. So once a lot more bigger names such as Bank of America, JPM, once they start to give some ratings, then this is where you should see the market take Webull a little bit more serious, which is kind of weird to say, but nonetheless, that's kind of how it is. This is something I've brought up ever since Webull was like $8, and you would have made some pretty good money on if anyone did actually do that. But anytime you are seeing kind of the stock discounted, buy or even consider buying a long call. Because for instance, if you feel Webull is going to go back to $15, for instance, so that's a 47.71% upside. If you feel that's on the table by, let's say, March, you can make 184% on a long call. And I actually even recently updated my Webull predictions on my Patreon. So I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades, and I kind of review a lot of quieter names such as Webull that I do feel have a significant upside. So you can make some very good money by either looking at a long call or as well, just like I said, pop over to my Patreon where I put out a lot of bangers like that. But definitely consider looking at options in my opinion, or vice versa. If you actually are, for whatever reason, bearish on Webull, you can still make some pretty good money off of that. So let me know your general thoughts on Webull. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What have you generally been doing? And then one final thing, as I mentioned, pop over to the Patreon. It's absolutely on point. I just re-added some new tiers. So if you're just primarily looking for day trades, which I put them out every single day and they're, like I said, on point, or whether it be swing trades, has a tier for everyone. So link to that in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.